Typical Family. I am questioning my sister, Tashika, and her boyfriend, Jeff. And this is my first question. For my sister, when you think about a typical family, what first comes in mind?
Mom, a dad, the kids, and typical family.
Okay. What do you think, Jeff?
I think mom, dad, crib, family.
Okay. When I think about typical family, I wouldn't say mom and dad because I was adopted. So typical family was just anybody at the time or after getting a typical family being adopted. So typical family for me is not the mom and dad for me. What do you think a typical family has changed? So marriage has changed. When you think about marriage, what's the typical marriage like?
A male and a female.
A male and a female.
A male and a female?
And so nowadays marriage has changed to male and female, male and male, female and female. And nowadays I figured that is what a typical family is, people that actually love each other no matter the sex. And when you think about family, you think about having marriage and you think about having kids. When it comes to same-sex marriage, how do you feel about same-sex marriage? And do you still consider same-sex marriage families as a typical family?
Same-sex marriage,
Mommy.
in my opinion, I don't agree with it. I don't want to see two men and two kissing and hugging up. I don't want to see two women. But at the same time, if that's what they choose, that's what they choose. So, do I feel as they're a typical family? No.
Okay. So why don't you feel as today, because there's so much, typical family isn't no longer your...
Because a male and a man can't produce no kids. A female and a female can't produce no kids. So how are you building a family if you can't have kids? Yes, you can adopt.
Sit down, Pumpkin.
Yes, you can adopt, but... So I guess that can be a typical family because they can adopt kids.
Okay. How do you feel about it?
God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
But do you think they can be considered the new typical family?
Not to me, really. I don't think that's really the new typical family to me.
Hi.
I just think it's some shit we accept nowadays.
Get down, little boy. We're doing
It's just being accepted.
It's just being accepted. Okay, so now that there's families that are not as used to be typical men and women, do you think children that are being brought up in same-sex couples, do you think they, I don't know how to put it.
Confuse the kid? Got the kid confused?
No, do you think, that's good. We can talk freely. Do you think that they're going to be missing out on things because they're in a family of same sex, or are they going to be lacking something that a same sex couple can bring to a child? Like
the problem is kids are bullies. So with them having the same sex parents, they're going to be bullied at school. So they're going to have issues with their peers. They're going to be low self-esteem. They're going to be bullied. So it could lead to anger issues and a lot of other things. Do I believe that people having same-sex parents, will they be gay like them? Yes. I have a cousin, she's a girl, she dates a girl, she has a son. Her son does female tendencies and things like that, and she doesn't like it. But he's around nothing but females. So I believe males need to have that male role model to show what they should be doing.
So you believe that so they lack what they should be shown naturally if they don't have the other parent.
Yes.
Yes.
So you believe the same thing, that they will
Yes.
lack something.
Yes.
Okay, so
Because I feel like if a kid is in a relationship with two males, he a man, he a boy, but he gonna figure that's gonna be cool to do, to be with another man. He figure that's cool because that's what he's seeing.
Well, you got to think about it anyway. Children look up to their parents. They look for somebody like their parents, or if they have a bad childhood, they look at somebody different. But a lot of times they still get somebody like their parents. So, yeah.
Okay, in the study in my video, The Typical Family, studies show that majority of gay children come from straight families. And there's no scientific or anything that shows that a gay couple raising a child, that they're going to come out gay. Because I think you have to consider that if you come from a straight couple and you're gay, it has to be something else, because you're not seeing your parents being with the same sex, but you feel
They're
that...
teaching it in school now. It's cool. They teaching it in school. It's cool.
Well, I mean, based off of what I'm saying is like...
They're making gender
No, she's
bathrooms.
talking
About in a family, like sometimes kids...
Okay, prime example. Went to school with a girl. She called herself being gay. She had a girlfriend, did all that for years. Left that alone, went and had kids. You know what I'm saying? Called herself, went back to the gay relationship. Ended up getting married. Her son is gay. So what do you look at that?
But I don't think it had anything to do with what he's seen his mom do, because he had a father figure in his life. Was his dad involved?
No.
Oh, I don't think because I don't think a child's sexual orientation will be based off of what their parents turn out to be. I don't think so.
I mean, if back in the day, people looked at it, a lot of kids that was sexually molested was shown that they, you know what I'm saying, became gay. Like a dude.
Well, yeah, right. So sexual orientation could have something that could have been traumatic that deferred them to be with something else.
Yes.
Be something else. So
That's how they learn how to say she gay, because she's seen her dad do women.
Yeah.
so wait, explain. You have a great granddaughter
I
because
have a granddaughter.
okay.
She said she don't feel like being with males because she done seen the way her dad and her mom been with each other. So she feel better, comfortable with a woman.
So that has nothing to do. That shows that it has nothing to do with.
You know, it shows that the way her mom was being treated, she don't want to be treated like that.
Yes, but it had nothing to do with their sexual orientation. It could, cause she could have been like, you know, it could have been the other way around. She could have been like, I don't want to be with the woman because the woman could have been treating her mom wrong. Or it could have been that. So it had nothing to do with her mom's sexual orientation, just how she was being treated.
Oh, to me, her mom went gay too, though.
Yeah, she did.
She did. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to marriage. We have an understanding that marriage is you guys believe that marriage should be between a woman and a man, but let's talk about just like marriage itself. Like in the video, it talked about that back in the day, or back in the 50s, or that you got married for other reasons outside of love, that like, okay, this was a good financial decision for us to come together, or we just end up having a kid, so we need to get married. So to you, what is like defining married? When you want to get married, what is it that you look for to want to be married?
Love, stability, support, just a partnership. You know what I'm saying? Like
A 50-50 partnership goes a long ways. Don't make it a one-way street. You know what I'm saying? And your marriage will be a lot better. When the person is focused on their own self, that's fuck a marriage up.
So you want to get married because of loving that person, not it being underlying something else. Love. So love is the reason for you guys want to be married. That you need to be in love with the person to want to be married. And I feel like that too. I also think so too, that I feel like it should be love, and I do want a little financial security, because I don't want to just blindly love and then we are not, you know, stable
but
financially.
you also have to have somebody that listens, that you can talk to, communicate, that is open to listen to your communication. Because people will say, you can be talking to them for the day, but they're not listening to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay, also in the video it talks about like you know, a lot of marriages were like more of a, okay, this is a convenient thing, or this is we should do, or this makes sense type thing, or we have the kids so we need to get married, or in order to have kids we need to get married. But nowadays you see a lot of people having children out of wedlock because nobody thinks like, I have to get married to have a baby. Nobody thinks like that anymore. So I want to talk about, would you stay in a marriage for a child, for the stability for a child, or would you consider divorce? Because they talk about in the 60s that divorce went up because people figure like, I'm not going to be in this, I don't love him anymore, I'm not going to stay because of the kid. How do you feel about that? You have a kid with the partner and you're married.
If you're not happy, no, I'm not staying for no kid. Because if you're not happy, then that kid is going to feed the relationship. You know what I'm saying? I think it harms kids.
It's going to feed off the energy.
No, I think it harms kids more with parents staying together for the kid because they're not a unit. You know, and the kids like, yeah, mom and dad smile and act like they're so loving outside the house, but in the home, I'm seeing the arguing, the fighting, the disconnect. So no, I would not stay in a marriage just for a job.
Okay. And also in my video, it talks about the different dynamics of like a marriage and a family that, you know, back in the day, you know, the woman stayed at home, she cooked, she had the kids, but nowadays that's not realistic for, you know, a one income family. Do you feel like our country supports both working parents when it comes to kids and childcare? Like, you know,
I think in my opinion, I believe the mother should be home with their children. If you look at the world today, look how these kids are misguided. These kids are out here doing all kinds of stuff because there's not a parent at home. So they're able to run the streets and do it. I think a lot of crime went up because the parent isn't at home with the kids at time to guide them and do, you know, because parents just sit down and do homework.
And if the parents is at home, they're trying to be their kids' motherfucking friend.
Did she say I'm cussing?
It's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
They're trying to be their friend. But
Mommy.
the kids are, yes it is. It's a kids get guided because their parents is their friend. So they think
But
they
that
can do
doesn't mean
whatever.
the parents at home either. Because the parents are not at home doing that. No, those parents are trying to live their life because they had kids young. So yeah, they want to be friends, but they're still not at home. They're out at the club every weekend. That's why the kid is out to do whatever they want to do. So no, a real mother that was at home, that chastised her kids, went to school PTA meetings, went to the school of their kid at the food. Nowadays you call a kid at the food, the parent like, oh, I'm at work, I can't leave work. I'll deal with that later.
Okay,
no.
so with that, you're saying that you believe that one parent at least, you're gender-wise, you're saying mom should be at home. But I don't, you know, personally.
Well, really, it could be either parent.
Either parent. There needs to be a parent at home. But if you think about today's world and, you know, how much it costs to have a house and a mortgage, that's not realistic. So what is it that our country, what is it that can be in place so that one parent can be at home? Because realistically, if you think about a typical family, if it's whatever, you got you got a home, you got a house, you got a mortgage.
You gotta look at the economy. The wages have not jumped with the way of the action. That's why. Back in the day, a parent could stay home because a family of four could live off of $20,000 a year, and that's buying groceries, paying a mortgage, buying a car. So it's because the wages are not going with the times. That's why both parents have to work.
So if our government set it higher wages, then one income can support a family.
If you look at it back in the 60s, what was the minimum wage? $1?
Yeah.
We're in 2020 and the minimum wage is only $7.25 federally.
Right.
So that means that's all they have to pay you. And states have did more, but it was $1 back then and people was making it. People can't make it off of $7.25 even
Right.
with two parents.
Right. So I think that's where it comes in that there's nothing in place where a family could be at home. One parent could be at home. And another problem that was mentioned in the video is that, you know, both parents got to work, but there's not proper child care either. There's not quality daycares. There's not, you know.
Well, the problem is daycare takes one of the parents' whole salary a month for daycare alone. You know, so how can they survive? And they're taking one income just paying for daycare to be able to work. They're still struggling. That's why they're still on public assistance.
Yeah. One thing I feel like is when I sent Diamond to the first daycare, they were just watching her. They was just, you know, the one where I sent there with Tasha, she wasn't learning nothing. They was just watching her, and you're not getting quality providers because daycare workers only make about maybe $2 or $3 more over minimum wage. So they're not really caring if your kid is reading. They're not really caring if your kid is, you know, learning what they're supposed to learn, because hell, they're not getting paid a lot of money. And
better educators.
Yeah, better educators. If we're not going to be able to get higher wages, we need better educators. And this video's only 15 minutes long. Better wages for our child care. In other countries, they don't have that issues. In other countries, they highly child care is free, and there's a better, and parents to be able to stay at home. We are the developed country, and we only get 6 weeks. Moms only get 6 weeks, and other places give 12 plus more weeks.
And the dad gets
dad gets time off too, paid. It's I was just reading that America is
not free, really.
No, America is the second worst country to raise a family right now.
It is.
You know, I just read about Tiffany Haddish that she's considering not ever having kids because it's not. Oh, my video's stopping. It's not. Why? Because there's no resources, and then all the racial tension that's going on now. The last question I have, if I could figure out a fucking question, is. Figure out what the last question I got. I don't know. I think we can just keep discussing on, you know, I want to go back to gay marriage and that